Good morning, students, or good afternoon, or whatever time it is that you're watching this video. I hope everyone is doing well. It is only in my best heart of heart and interest that everyone is being safe, that we are practicing our social distancing, we are not leaving the house unless it's necessary, and we're not touching or refraining to touch our eyes, nose, and our mouth. And if we do have to leave, that we have some sort of face covering or bandana or some sort of like face shield, because we do want to be safe and we want to keep others safe as well. So today I will be reading This Little Scientist, and it's a discovery primer. I do have permission by Scholastic to be reading this, and I don't want this little book to fool you because this is a 4th grade book, and you'll see why. There's a lot of really interesting things in it. This Little Scientist. Now, one of the reasons I love this book is because it highlights not only males but females, because females have a lot to do with the science field. And without their discoveries, our world would not nearly be as amazing as it is today. Asking why, then making a guess. Asking how, then proving with tests. Little scientists make great big discoveries. So I'm looking around and I'm looking at these 2 pages. I recognize a couple of these scientists, and I hope you do too. There's some that really stick out, like Albert Einstein and Madame Curie, but I don't know every one of them. And that's what's so cool about reading. When we read, we learn new things. Isaac Newton. This little scientist said, "We walk on the ground because gravity stops us from floating around." Isaac Newton also found a rainbow of colors called a spectrum inside a beam of light, and figured out 3 rules for how objects move. So these scientists did not create these things, but they did discover them. So he discovered gravity. Without gravity, that's a force that pulls us down. We'd be floating around everywhere. Maria Marion. This little scientist painted bugs everywhere, laying eggs, eating leaves, even flying midair. Maria Marion's paintings explain such things as how caterpillars turn into butterflies through a change called metamorphosis. So she gave us an inside view of the world of bugs. A lot of us would be a little bit squeamish to discover that, but she was allowing us to discover that bugs are actually pretty cool. Pretty awesome. Metamorphosis seems like it would be a really cool process. Marie Curie. This little scientist did experiments to show that atomic energy made uranium rocks glow. Marie Curie studied invisible atoms that give off energy particles she named radioactivity. She was the first person to win 2, not just 1, 2 Nobel Prizes in chemistry and physics. So these are awards that not just anyone gets. You have to do so many wonderful things in the world of science, and she won 2. Albert Einstein. This little scientist had wild white hair. He was famous for writing E equals mc squared. Albert Einstein's equation means that energy and mass are the same thing in different forms. He said, "Nothing can go faster than the speed of light." And that's 186,282 miles a second. Wow, that's incredibly fast. Grace Hopper. This little scientist wrote code that was new to tell computers in words what we want them to do. Grace Hopper programmed computers in words instead of numbers. She popularized, I had a little bit of trouble with that word, but I sounded it out. Every good reader needs to sound out words sometimes. And she created the term computer bug when a moth flew inside her computer and broke it. Ooh, I don't know how I'd feel if a moth broke my computer. Katherine Johnson. This lady is incredible. This little scientist got the math right to help NASA astronauts launch outer space flight. Katherine Johnson solved hard math problems on paper before trusted computers were available, so space heroes like John Glenn could safely orbit the Earth. Wow, so she did a lot of really important work as well. Jane Goodall. This little scientist studied chimpanzees and made friends with them among Africa's trees. Jane Goodall discovered that chimps like to hug their friends and they make tools like spoons out of sticks. Before this, people thought that only humans could make tools. Song Luan. This little scientist had a brilliant spark. She helped find particles called gluon and charm quark. San Lan Wu discovered particles, the smallest building blocks of our universe, and atoms, protons, and neutrons are made of quarks and stuck together by gluons. Wow. Stephen Hawking. This little scientist studied outer space, surprises like mysterious black holes that form in any size. Stephen Hawking made big news by explaining how some particles might escape black holes, which have gravity so strong that everything nearby falls into them. Neil deGrasse Tyson. This little scientist helped us discover how our universe works and how it begins. Neil deGrasse Tyson visited the Hayden Planetarium as a boy and got so excited about stars and planets. He grew up to be the director of the planetarium. So that is the end of The Little Scientist. Please go ahead and AR test. And this book was about little scientists who make big discoveries. I hope one day I get to read your name in one of these books. Thank you.